Hello everyone, my name is Pollux with Typesofphobia.com. I sure hope you're at peace today and free of all fear. Out of the corner of your eye, you see it. Countless uncaring eyes stare right at you. Its hairy legs, seemingly spring-loaded, to pounce at any moment. The hair on your arm begins to spike, and you start to sweat. This is a seemingly uncontrollable fear, one that you have felt throughout your life. In this video from Typesofphobia.com, we will discuss the eight-legged nightmare known as arachnophobia. What is the fear of spiders called? An abnormal, overwhelming, and irrational fear of spiders is the arachnophobia definition. The fear usually also extends to scorpions and other eight-legged insects and can be paralyzing to the person suffering from it. We are scared of many things: thunder, lightning, snakes, or even dogs. But the fear of arachnids is one of the most commonly known types of phobia in the world. The term comes from the Greek roots arachne, which refers mostly to spiders, and the word for fear, phobos. People who suffer from a phobia of spiders are terrified of spiders to the point that they are unable to function. Being afraid of spiders is a common trait most people have, but arachnophobes are likely to be afraid even of harmless house spiders due to the intensity of their paranoia when it comes to the eight-legged insects. An arachnophobic person behaves differently when they feel they are near a spider or when talking about spiders, to the point that they themselves feel that they are being irrational. The fear of spiders also leads to a fear of the dark and old, dusty places that have cobwebs in them, for instance. What are the symptoms of arachnophobia? So what triggers a spider phobia? A person suffering from a phobia of spiders is likely to start exhibiting symptoms of anxiety and panic when thinking about spiders. Feeling like they are nearby or when looking at them is of the most concern to these types of phobias. Arachnophobia symptoms appear in varying combinations and intensity each time and differ greatly from person to person. Spider phobia causes some of the following symptoms that commonly affect a person suffering from the condition: panic attacks, difficulty breathing and hyperventilation, shaking, sweating, and extreme nervousness, paralysis, insomnia, chest pains and heartburn, extreme fear of death, nausea and disorientation. The above arachnophobia symptoms can affect the individual extremely and create situations where the fear is aggravated, not to mention the embarrassment of being caught in such a situation that wrongfully makes the person suffering from a phobia feel socially inept. What are the effects of arachnophobia? The fear of spiders can have a very negative effect on a person's general well-being. The fear of spiders often leads to a fear of the dark, which can affect a person's ability to sleep comfortably, which develops into insomnia over a period of time, increasing their anxiety levels and creating room for further negative thoughts and fears. The feeling of something crawling up the body becomes a persistent thing that repeatedly brings the person back to spiders. Unexplained noises can also become sources of anxiety and distress in an arachnophobic person. As it builds in intensity, the person may become extremely paranoid about having cupboards, hidden spaces, and attics repeatedly checked for any signs of a spider. Despite all the precautions, the fear that a spider may be hidden nearby still looms large in their mind. To combat this, people with arachnophobia tend to keep their homes very brightly lit and often sleep with the lights on. The fear can also make it difficult for the person suffering from spider phobia to navigate public spaces for fear of running into a spider. However, unlike other phobias, phobia of spiders is not as harsh on the working professional, since office spaces are usually well maintained and spider-free, mainly because of the bright environment. What causes fear of spiders? As is common with many different types of phobia, spider phobia is likely to develop when the person is at an impressionable age, through some traumatic event or bad experience. People who have been bitten by venomous spiders or scorpions in the past are at the highest risk of developing the phobia, since the intense pain from the venom can be very traumatic for the person. Being pranked with fake spiders by elder siblings and friends can also be a contributing factor, although this is usually supplemental to a more serious incident or issue. People who are high-strung have a higher level of anxiety than others and are also susceptible to developing arachnophobia. Seeing disturbing visuals of spiders in movies where they kill or eat humans alive can put a seed of fear in people. Close-up photos of spiders with their murderous eyes and hairy legs can haunt people who are already afraid of spiders. Those who live in places with bigger spiders that have different colors and look dangerous are also at a higher risk. For many people who develop arachnophobia, the foundation is laid by a seemingly normal fear of creepy crawlers, which is shared by friends and family. However, it becomes irrational after bad experiences and going through too much content that makes spiders seem scarier than they actually are. Arachnophobia treatment. Since the phobia has been publicly known for a long time, research and advancements in the medical and psychology fields have created effective methods for spider phobia treatment. The most commonly applied branches of treatment are hypnotherapy and psychotherapy. These two methods can help an arachnophobic person train themselves to slowly get over their fears and bring them down to a level where rationality is not compromised, and eventually to a level where their fear no longer affects their day-to-day lives. Hypnotherapy. This method of treatment seeks to identify the phobia of spiders and the causes. This helps them to come to terms with the traumatic incidents that created it. The therapy teaches the person that their constant fear of spiders is not rational and helps them understand that spiders are not necessarily as dangerous as they perceive. Giving the patient the ability to see things logically and, more importantly, to abide by the rationality does a lot to combat arachnophobia. Psychotherapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy is the primary sub-branch of psychotherapy used in the treatment of spider phobia. The treatment involves slowly desensitizing the patient to their object of fear using what is known as exposure therapy. The therapist attempts to get the patient used to talking about spiders and seeing images of them, before slowly moving to look at real spiders from a safe, controlled distance. This will allow the patient to gain a greater understanding of the irrationality of their fear. This in turn allows them to develop better responses to being exposed to spiders. Medication. Sometimes therapists may prescribe anti-anxiety and antidepressant medication to help control the patient's arachnophobia symptoms. This allows them to proceed with the therapy, which might be too much to handle for the patient. The medication induces calmness, helps with sleep, and keeps the patient closer to normal levels of function, despite the persistence of the phobia. There is no direct medication-based treatment for fear of spiders, since it is largely a mental condition which must be treated by a mental health specialist through therapy. Caring for someone with arachnophobia. Any mental health issue needs to be dealt with very carefully, especially by the sufferer's support system. With the right guidance and support, arachnophobia can be dealt with swiftly. People suffering from spider phobia need to feel like they have a home environment that is safe from spiders, It is important to keep adjusting until the individual is able to make progress in their therapy. This may involve putting up with bright lights both during the day and night, as well as multiple requests to have a look in the cupboard or in the bathroom. You can also use some self-help books recommended by the therapist to help the individual through their therapy. There are often usual, safe exercises that can be done to improve the individual's mental health and mental strength and help them through their therapy progress. Reassuring the person that they will be fine and that the treatment will be successful in removing their irrational fears is important. Ensuring that they continue with their therapy, however, no matter how reluctant they are, is absolutely essential. Using spider phobia facts to help them recognize the irrationality of their fear is also very helpful. Arachnophobia facts. Phobia of spider symptoms are usually driven by the intense fear of death from a spider. It is an irrational fear in many respects, but chiefly because spiders account for less than 7 deaths a year in the United States. These are also extremely rare cases that relate to extremely uncommon spiders. A majority of spider bites are almost negligible in effect and can be treated at home. More lethal than spiders are bees and wasps, yet the fear of spiders is much more common than a phobia of bees or wasps. How do you overcome arachnophobia? People suffering from spider phobia can be intensely suspicious of their surroundings and become mildly catatonic due to the fear of going to a place where they cannot be sure that there are no spiders. It is important to begin the treatment of this condition as soon as it is diagnosed, so that the sufferer can resume normal living as soon as possible. A good support system and therapy from a medical professional can reverse the effects of the phobia and make the fear of spiders a thing of the past. Prolonging arachnophobia treatment can have many adverse effects and increase the time that needs to be spent on therapy. Researching spider phobia facts and the fear of spiders and the definitions therein may help identify people suffering from the condition at an earlier stage. And finally, hypnotherapy and psychotherapy, working in tandem, can be immensely helpful to the individual in their recovery from their arachnophobia. Thank you for sticking with me for this educational look at arachnophobia. Once again, my name is Pollux from Typesofphobia.com, and I wish you nothing but peace and happiness. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you don't miss a future video.